Hello guys, welcome back to RS Codex. I hope you all are doing great. In today's video, we are going to discuss about these functions. Here you can see the topics that we are going to cover in this particular video. The first one is what is a function, and the second one is why we use the functions, what is its necessities. The third one is function declaration, or we can also call it as a prototype. And the fourth one is function definition, and the fifth one is the function call. The most important thing is that you have to remember these three things: the function declaration, function definition, and the function call. These three are very important. Okay, the video is going to be very interesting, so stay tuned until the end. Okay, without any delay, let's start our today's video. Actually, what is a function? A function is a block of code that performs a specific task. It is executed only when it is called. Here the main function is there. The main is also a function, but it is a default function. There is no necessity to call automatically. When the code has been started compiling, it automatically compiled, and the code is been executed, and the specific task that is present inside that particular main block, main function is there now. In that block it is going to be performed. But whereas coming to these functions, these are user defined functions. Simply we can say that these are user defined functions. These functions are being executed, perform the particular task that is being present in that particular block of that function. It is being executed only when we call it. Okay, that is actually this function call. Okay, what is function call? We will see. Simply remember, it is a function which is used to perform a specific task only when it is been called. Next, coming to why actually we use this function. The first one is to avoid writing the same code repeatedly. For suppose we want the same type of code for 3 to 4 times in the particular program. When we write a code in large scale, there is usually 1,000 lines of code is been there. In that particular code, if you want 5 lines repeatedly 5 times, we can't write it. Then the code length will be increased. No, now it is 1,000 lines. If you repeat that same code over a large number of times, then it will increase the space. No, it is not the efficiency. If we declare that particular block of code that we want 5 times in a particular function, every time when we need it, we will easily call that function. Whenever we call that function, that particular task will be performed at that particular instance. Okay, that is the first use of this. We can use that same code repeatedly. Second one is make the program easier to read. As we are using the same function 5 times, then the code reading will be easier. No, okay, makes the debugging easier, as the code is being organized in a systematic order. With the help of that, we can easily decode what are the bugs present in it. Improves the code reusability. That only we have discussed. The same code we need 5 times. In that instance, we will use these functions. Because of that, the code reusability is being done. Improves the code reusability and breaks the large programs into the smaller parts. Okay, these are the uses of these functions. Functions are very basic. Okay, listen to me. Operators, loops, condition statements, functions, these all are there. No, still some topics are there. These are mandatory. These are the foundations of CPP. There is no choice of optional topics in this. These are, however, integrated with every program. Either of the topic we will use. Functions in every program we will use. If you want to organize a program in a systematic order, we will use the functions. Otherwise also we will use, but it will be very organized when we use the functions. Okay, keep it aside. This is about the function and function uses. Next, going to function declaration. How actually we declare this function? Here you can see. A function declaration tells the compiler the function name, return type, and the parameters before it is used. Something like its function name is being set to the compiler before only, and the return type. Return type means the data type only in that particular syntax. As we are writing the data type over here, we will call it as a return type. Here return type will be declared and the parameters before it is being used. Here you can see the syntax of function declaration. Return type, function name. Function name can be anything, and another important thing I have forgotten. The function name can be anything. Anything will be accepted by the compiler. But one major thing you have to remember is that function name should be related to that particular program. Whenever someone has opened your code, when you have went for an interview and there the interviewer has watched your code, then he have to understand. By seeing that function name only, he should get an idea what actually it is going to do in that particular block of code. For suppose I wanted to take a information from the user. In that context, I will write something like for suppose I am writing void, return type is void. Otherwise, let me keep an integer. The return type is integer. The function name is I wanted to take the input from the user. Then in that context, I am writing something like get data. Get data. Now this particular word is saying something that he is going to take some data. The programmer is wanted some data from the user. Is something is saying something what is going to happen in that particular block of code. The function name can be anything, but try to keep the function name related to that particular program only. Don't keep unnecessary names. Okay. Next, coming to the parameters. Now, okay, what actually these parameters means? Parameters means something the data we are going to get the value from the outside that function, and that values that are been coming from the outside the function that we are going to use inside the block. Okay, for suppose int a is a sort of parameter. As of now, don't get confused. We know return type. The function name is something that user has to keep. That is we. User, not user, the programmer has to keep. Coming to the parameters, the parameters are something that takes the input from the outside the function, and that value that is been coming from the outside the function is going to use in that particular block. It is actually the parameter. Okay. There is no mandatory that there should be a parameter. There can be no parameters. Either you can give as many parameters as you can. There is no limit, and we can keep 0 parameters as well. Okay. This is about this function declaration. Coming to this function definition. This is a function declaration. Okay. The block that is come under this function declaration is known as function definition. The specific task that is going to be performed by that particular function is known as a function declaration. Here you can see a function declaration contains the actual code that performs the task. Simply, function declaration is used to tell the compiler what is the function's name and the return type and the parameters before it is used. There is no mandatory that there should be parameters. There can be no parameter. Otherwise, you can keep the parameters. It is your up to you, but you have to keep the return type space variable. Okay. You will clearly understand what actually this parameter say. Might be I will try to make a video on that to get somewhat clarity. Otherwise, I will explain it at the end. Okay, don't worry about that. Here coming to return type, function name, parameters has been declared. Okay, here is the block related to that function declaration. Here you might observe that this semicolon is been there. Over here it is not there. There is two types of writing the function. Either you can declare this function in any of the place in that particular code and you can access it anywhere. While writing a function definition, you have to write something like this. While declaring it any other place of the program to tell the compiler before, you have to keep write like this. There is no mandatory that before writing this function definition you have to do this. Here only directly the function declaration is been done. There is no mandatory that you have to do something like this. Okay. Don't be worried, it is going to be very easy. Let me finish this. I will explain with an example. Next, coming to this function call. Okay, the function has been declared, it has been defined. Now it has to be called, then only the function has been executed. No, in main block we actually call this. There is no mandatory that we have to call it from the main. We can call one function from another function as well, as main is also a function, but a default one. Here you can see the calling is something like this. Okay, let me wait. I will explain with an example. Okay, in that particular file there is a sort of error being appeared, so I have created a new file for this particular program. Okay, let us discuss how actually the function declaration, function definition and function call is going to be happened over here. Here you can see it is the function declaration, this is the function definition, and here is the function call. Let me indicate function declaration, function declaration. This is entirely known as function definition. Okay, next it is known as the function call. Okay, function declaration, function definition, the function call. Here the function declaration syntax we have remembered. Return type, function name. I have said the function name has to say what actually the block is going to do. Here I have used display word keyword, not keyword, display. What actually this display is going to indicating that I'm going to display something, some value of particular variable. Okay, and previously it is not a mandatory thing, but it has to be used like that so that it can be impacted. Okay, coming to the parameter, how actually this parameter is you going to use, I mean work. The function block, I think you have an idea on that. Next, coming to the function, I mean function definition, it is not function call. Coming to the function call, what actually the function call is that? How actually we call? The function call is done by using the function name only. By using the function name only, we will call the function. There is no return type before that. If if there is any parameter in that particular function, we have to pass from main function to that particular function, then we will keep that variable. Okay, here you can see. Here there is a mandatory that we have to write the return type and the variable name. Here we can only simply write the variable. If there is no variable, I mean no sending of the variable to that function, then we will simply call something like this. Okay, if you have any variable, we have to do something like this. For suppose, okay, let me show you how actually it is running. Here you can see a is equals to 10 has been displayed. This is a function. Wait, this is a function, and this is also a function, but it is predefined, I mean default function. It is the programmer created function. Okay, that is the difference, and every function is called from the main function only. Okay, every function has to be called from this main function only, simply like that. Next, coming to parameters, I said I will explain. No, for suppose I have declared two variables, something like b is equals to 20, not 2. For suppose 3, something like b a is equals to 10, b is equals to 20, c is equals to 30. I will simply declare something like this, and over here comma has to be kept between them. Int space b comma int c. Next, coming to here, b is equals to c is equals to, okay. Now let us try to run this particular program. Here you can see a is equals to 10, b is equals to 20, and c is equals to 30. How many parameters you wanted to pass, you can pass. Otherwise, if you won't have any sort of parameters, you can remove that. And there is no necessary that you have to use the same variable here and here and here and here. Let me show you. Here the variables has to be A and B and C only, as it is being defined over here. The variables that are being defined over here has to be same with these. But coming to here, we can keep something like X, Y, and Z. If I kept something like this, in that, then we have to do something like A is equals to X, B is equals to Y, semicolon, and C is equals to Z. Okay, we have written like this. Now let me show you how actually it runs. Okay. These are not I haven't declared them. Let it be int. It is also int, and it is also an int. Save it and run. Here you can see A is equals to B. A is equals to 10, B is equals to 20, and C is equals to 30 is been there. The variables that we use here has to be written in these parameters. Okay. Coming over here, it is no mandatory that the same variables has to be used. We can use any sort of variables. And another thing is that we have declared that A is equals to X, B is equals to Y, and C is equals to Z. Without declaring it, simply we can do something like this. We can simply write A is equals to X. Without writing A, B, C variables, we can write something like this, X, Y, Z. Save it and run. Still you will get the same output. If you have any confusion, let me briefly say you again. The variables that we are using in this over here has to be same while calling the function. But the variables that we are using here can be same in these parameters, or they can be changed. If they are changed, we can use the parameters that variables we are using in these parameters, we can directly use them. Otherwise, we can declare some other variables and we can initialize over there. Okay. It is not mandatory that learning it before only. While doing the programs as we go in a flow, then you can understand it very betterly. Don't be worried about that. Try to practice. If you have any doubt, try to pause the video and go back and again try to see the video. You will understand. Try to practice while seeing the video. Okay. This is all about this video, guys. And in the previous file, there is a sort of some mistake has been done. I tried to compile it, but it is not been compiling. It's okay, but try to practice. If you feel the video is informative, please like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe for the channel, guys. Thank you for watching video. Thank you.